Hi, you guys. I want to talk today about grief, sadness, overeating, binge eating, depression, and everything related to that. I am actually grieving the loss of a parent. My father just recently passed, and it's a really complex, very complicated time for me, dealing with that and everything. And this is what I thought. Okay. My father just passed less than a week ago. And I thought that by now I should be binge eating and that I should be, really getting into unhealthy foods and using food to cope. Okay. Like a lot of people do. Like I used to do a lot. Like I still do sometimes. But it hasn't really been that way. And there's been a lot of surprising things with him passing. There's been a lot of surprising emotions, this feeling of numbness and not exactly knowing how to process it and just doing the best I can. But I wanted to offer this video as a sign of my support for anyone who is going through grief, sadness, depression, or anything closely related. And as a result of that, you are experiencing some changes to your diet or to your exercise routine. And the support that I want to offer is it's okay to deviate from your norm when you are going through extremes. So, for this example, I'm going through grief, and it's okay for me to use food to cope. It's okay for me to rest a lot. It's okay for me to use whatever I can to cope, to comfort myself, to feel better, to feel good, and food makes us feel good. Rest makes us feel good. Rest is healthy. Rest is good and healthy for your mental health. So that's the support that I want to offer you. And don't feel bad if you get hit with something that makes you sad, something that puts you in a state of depression, something that puts you in like severe debilitating anxiety, something that puts you into grief. Grief does not always go for the loss of a loved one. Grief can come in many different forms. And if you're experiencing any emotion that is intense, that is causing you to deviate or, engage in some not so healthy habits, it's okay, because that is the coping mechanism that you know how to use right now. But I do want to share with you guys, I don't know what's going on with my throat. I haven't been feeling well, obviously, but I've been doing okay with it. And I want to share this because I've been doing the best I can with this news and with this with my dad's passing. I've been doing the best that I can, right? And I see in myself that I am a completely different person. I have shifted into a new reality and I'm a completely different person now because when I face situations, instead of just having food, instead of just having people, instead of just having these seemingly unhealthy things that I can run to or that I can use, scrolling social media, watching a lot of TV, I now have real, very healthy coping skills and mechanisms that I use to handle and deal with very complex, difficult situations in my life. The tool that I'm thinking about right now, these are the most helpful coping tools that I have learned and I have cultivated. Not only have I learned them, I've cultivated them and I've used them for a few years now. So they're ingrained in me. And this is kind of, I wanted to make a video about grief, but I didn't know how to spin it. And so now I see how it's coming out, and I'm glad because I can share these two coping skills with you. And maybe you can start using these if you're going through a hard time in your life like I am. Now, I use these all the time. Okay, they are meditation and journaling. But let me go a little bit deeper and get more specific with you so you can see how you can use them for yourself. First, meditation. I meditate every single day, almost every single day, multiple times a day, all the time. Meditation is my number one favorite coping mechanism to use for life and life's situations. My favorite meditation app is Insight Timer, and I mostly do guided meditations. So, therefore, I'm experiencing grief. And because I meditate all the time, because it is my favorite way to cope with life and to go about life, it's my favorite way to connect with it's one of my favorite ways to connect with myself, with my inner self, with my real self, the real me, real me on the inside. Okay. This is how I connect with my spirit, with my soul. So since my dad has passed, I get on Insight Timer and I search grief in the search box. Lots of meditations come up, lots of guided meditations come up, and every single day or every other day or whenever I feel like it, I'll do between 1 to 3 of those. And I'll sit there and I'll feel it and I'll cry and I'll release it. And I might yell and I might talk to him and I might say something and I might take a pause in between meditations to just feel my feelings and emotions and let them run through me, let them run over me so that I don't eat that energy, because energy is always circulating. So if emotion is energy in motion. So if an emotion, if you are grieving and you're feeling very intense emotions, that energy wants to be felt, wants to be heard, wants to be seen, wants to be released, wants to be transformed into something else. So I let those feelings and emotions run over me. I feel my feelings as best as I can, as fully as I can. This is my process of healing. This is my process of dealing with things. This is my process of how I move through my life now. I use meditation as my number one. Y'all gonna hear me say this a lot now. It is my number one coping tool, skill, mechanism. It's my number one, or maybe there's another one that might be competing, but it's my number one. So I type in grief. I'm doing the grief meditations. I'm feeling my feelings fully. Number 2, I am journaling. Journaling is near and dear to my heart because most of my journaling sessions are like therapy sessions because I go very deep in what I'm doing with myself. I'm on a healing journey, and I've been on a healing journey for a little bit. I would say for about a year now. I've really been on it for longer than a year, but intensely, I've been on it for like 10 months where I've been doing intense work on myself. And by intense work, I mean inner work, like limiting belief work, healing my childhood trauma, going through things that happened to me in my life, figuring out things about myself that I never saw, that I never knew, that never were able to come to the surface because I didn't know how to communicate with myself to pull those things out. And now I know how to communicate with myself to pull those things out. Now I know how to do shadow work and inner work and work on my dad. Because honestly, you guys, we didn't have the best, closest relationship. And so there's some complexities there, Not only has he passed, but we didn't have the best relationship. But get this, I was already doing my inner work on him before he passed. I was doing very deep inner work on him, and I was feeling mostly healed. So this might sound away. I don't know how it's going to sound, but receive it in a positive way. He passed at the right time for me because I am emotionally healthy enough to receive that information, and I'm healthy enough to go through the waves and do this in a very healthy way, in my opinion. I'm handling it very well because now I felt like I was mostly healed, right? Now I'm really doing my inner work on it because I'm like, oh, I need to heal from this. Oh, I need to forgive him for this. Oh, I need to see this. Oh, I need to make sure this doesn't happen again. Oh, I need to, I'm like, okay, I'm doing my inner work on him. I'm working on my daddy issues, y'all. And I'm literally doing it. Like I'm finishing it. Like I'm going to complete this work, or the bulk of it, the majority of it. Now situations come up in life and something might trigger me, and then I might be like, oh, let's revisit that. Let's go over this again. Let's do this, blah, blah, blah. But I use journaling as a coping mechanism so that instead of eating, I will journal. Instead of eating, I will meditate. Instead of eating, I will feel my feelings and let that energy and motion pass over me. I will feel it, okay? I will feel it. I will cry about it. I will do whatever. And those two are two of my coping skills, two of my coping mechanisms, two of the things that I use in place of food. Okay? My deepest condolences to you if you are going through grief and the loss of someone very special to you and dear to your heart. My condolences go out to you. Much love goes out to you, and use whatever you need to use to get through this time, but do not let it define you. Do not let it's not bad. Okay, nothing is inherently bad or good. We put labels on things. But don't let this season in your life define who you are. So don't let it overtake you. Take your power back and start doing some things for you. Start learning different coping mechanisms. Start learning how not to run to food when you feel intense emotions. And learn other coping skills so that maybe you still are going to use food, but maybe now you have food, meditation, journaling, and yoga. Maybe now you have food, breath work, and long walks in the park. Develop other skills so that you're not always using food and drink to cope with life, because we need these skills. We need to know how to cope with life, because most of us are not taught how to cope with life and the things that happen in life. We all need a little tool belt where we could bring out these tools for the occasion that we're using them for. So I really hope that this video was supportive to you. I'm Blossom. I'm a weight loss and health transformation coach. I'm starting, if I want to invite you, just in case this video is calling to you, and just in case you're in a season of life where you are ready to start your weight loss journey, and where you are ready to take all of your power back, to learn all of these coping mechanisms and how to actually use them. Like, I can tell you to meditate, I can tell you to journal, but how do you actually put that into practice in your life? And that's why it's great to have someone there to support you on a journey of real change and transformation, which is what I specialize in. So anyway, I want to invite you to my coaching program. It's called Weight Lifted. It's a 6-week complete transformation. Okay, where you are starting your weight loss journey. You are done with your old self. We're going to go over energy and embodiment work, because we need you to completely change. You are no longer the old version of yourself who just used food to cope, who didn't exercise, don't feel good in your body, don't look the way you want to look, don't feel confident, don't have self-esteem where it should be. We're getting rid of her. We're going to grieve over her. We're going to let her go, and it's going to be a process. So I'm going to be there to support you. So we have to do that. Then we're going to clear the path for you to come through by getting rid of your limiting beliefs over weight loss, over health, over diet, over exercise, over anything that could be blocking you from being successful in your weight loss journey. And then, of course, we have to change the way you eat and your movement. We have to get you to move. We have to get you to exercise. Some people have limiting beliefs over what exercise means. It doesn't mean one thing. There are many different, very healthy forms of movement. So I'm going to teach you how to integrate movement into your life and make a complete and total lifestyle change. It's a 6-week program. We're starting very soon. If you are interested, please send me a message on Instagram or Facebook at Bloom with Blossom. I'm going to be putting a link very soon where you can just sign up for the course. Like, you can just sign up for my program. I'm going to put the link very soon, you guys. But if you're interested, let me know. If you have any questions, let me know. Again, if you're going through any hard or rough time in your life, feel encouraged. Learn some different coping skills and mechanisms. Use meditation, use journaling, feel your feelings. Don't feel bad or shamed or anything like that. If you're using food, use food, babe. Use food and cope the best way you know how. It's okay. But don't let that food have power over you for a whole year. You know, don't let the food just completely overtake you for a decade. Take your power back at some point, okay? Because you are a very powerful manifester. You have all of the power in your hands, but you don't even realize it. Let me support you and let me help you. If you are ready to start your weight loss journey, let's go. I am ready. Okay, that's how I knew I was ready. I lost my dad and I just kept going. And I'm just feeling my feelings, and I'm doing my inner work, and I'm journaling, I'm meditating. I'm like, oh, I'm on a new level now. I'm on a different level, you guys. I'm on a different level now. So anyway, I'm so glad I'm getting this video out. Leave me any questions or comments down below. I'll see you guys in the next video. Slowly unfold and bloom like a flower.